Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Lanmou Spiritual. This is a general career reading for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or anyone who feel like watching this reading for March 2020. Aries, I've already posted this reading for you, but I could tell like you guys were not enjoying this reading. I could feel it even as I was doing the reading, but I think I perhaps once or twice where I've recorded a reading and I didn't post it. I felt like I needed to. Someone needed to hear that message, Aries. Like it didn't resonate with me either. And if you've been watching this channel, you know I'm like very Aries. I'm like a triple Aries. Sun, Mars and Venus in Aries. So I always go back and watch these messages, and as I was watching it, I was not enjoying that message either. So Aries, it's your birthday. It's our birthday season, and all of you March Aries here, happy birthday. I'm also in March Aries, so yeah, do not let the stress, this pandemic to kind of like dim all your light, Aries. Okay, we still can celebrate our birthday. Even if you have to do so in the comfort of your home with your close ones, it's okay. It's okay. You'll have yourself a good time, cook yourself a nice meal, watch your favorite movie. There's so many ways to have fun, y'all. Like don't be down just because of what's going on. I myself, I'm someone who likes to have a quiet birthday. I always like prefer to be, even when I celebrate my birthday, it will be the weekend before or the day after. Like I rarely do something that's like, with other people on my birthday. My birthday is like a day of introspection for me. Like, that's kind of like my new year. Like literally, I've always been like that even before I started delving deep into spirituality. I would always like use that day to set my intentions, to look at the year that I just passed and what I want to accomplish in this new year. That's what I do on my birthday, and it's not always a happy time, by the way, doing that for me. So I always keep my distance. Like that, it's not always a happy exercise. But anyways, Aries, there you go. We're gonna do your reading again. We are using the same deck, Akashic Record, to do Akashic Tarot to do the main reading, and we will clarify with the after tarot. Did a lot of chit chatting here, and we are asking the same questions. What do Aries need to know? What do Aries need to know, especially in regards to career and finances, and all kind of aspect of life I've been coming through in this reading, not just career. So keep an open mind. This is our general reading. It may not resonate with you, and if it doesn't, it's okay. All right, it may be one sentence, it may be just a part of the reading, it may be the whole reading that resonate with you, but if it doesn't, it's okay, guys. Eight of Roses, we have here Sangha, community. This is beautiful, coming together. We're just talking about that, like in the comfort of a home here. This does not feel like it's a restaurant, right? Inviting friends over or family members together, having a good chat, right? Well lit place, like it looks sunny outside, almost like, in the comfort of the home here, having fun. It's okay, we can do that. It's just like we work so hard to maintain our home, to make our home comfortable and beautiful. Like it shouldn't be a problem to spend time at home. Yes, we would rather be out socializing, but if for whatever reason it would be for the best and highest good of everyone involved, for the safety and security of other people, we need to stay in. We have to. Okay, she really wanted to come out, this card here, so we're gonna take it. So this is the King of Scrolls that came out for you, Aries, and at the bottom of the deck here we have reflection. What were we talking about? Reflection and being introspective. Of course that will come. This is major arcana number 19, which is also the Sun card in the tarot. So reflection here, it's almost like seeing, it's not just reflecting on things, right? The state of the world, reflecting on your own life, your own past, life path, but this is also reflection of what's being, like what are you being shown in the world, right? How are you reflecting God's light into the world? Because that's how God's creation is manifested through us. We are co-creators with the divine. We have free will, meaning we can choose the paths. We can choose to make it easy on ourselves sometimes, or make it harder based on the choices that we make. But there's a lot of things that we know too that are not completely up to our control. We also know that decision made by that person over there can affect the options that are available to us. Just like right now, we're seeing it because of decisions by our leaders, things that perhaps could have been prevented, or that could have been taken care of to make things a little easier on everyone. Because they were ignored, now we're all paying the price together as a collective, right? So that person you go to meet next time at the grocery store, or if you venture out, not washing their hands, maybe a pitfall, you being infected, and then you go home, and then here comes, you pass it on to a family member. So, or even you getting sick from it, like you. But so this is kind of like how all decisions, not just the big one, the little ones, the everyday decision, the way we live our life, the places we go, the way we spend our money, how are those decisions being reflected back at us? Because for so long we are so good at talking about our values, our principles, and so on and so forth. And I feel like this is, the message is going back to the same place, Aries. And please forgive me, but that's what's coming through. That is what's coming through. I have to talk about it, okay, guys? For so long, we have to live that life. We have to act or talk. Okay, we have to walk the talk. We can just say we have those values, we have those principles, and then we don't want to make the decisions that are in alignment with that. We think things that happen over there is for those people. That has nothing to do with us, right? We have all comfort. We have ours. We have our health care. We have, our protection. We have our big, career and material wealth, our house, our home. Like, we don't, it's not, it's a thing that we can talk about, we can philosophize about, but how much to heart the everyday person every day that we take it, that there are kids that are literally have no one to even give them a hug. There are kids that are like being passed through from home to home, that have never known kindness in their lives. There are kids that don't even know where the next meal is gonna come from. There are kids that feel abandoned and ignored. And I always go to kids because adults will make decision. You could easily say those adults, they make their decision. They made their bed, they can lie on it. But what about the kids? Let's start there. And if we can give to the kids, they'll grow up to be more stable, more giving, more generous, and more loving adults themselves, okay? So if we just could focus just on the kids. So during this time, we're looking at reflection here. It's saying like what's being reflected back at us right now as we all facing this pandemic is our own behavior, our own deeds collectively. It's not just them. It's not just over there. All of us, okay? And it's as we're spending more time at home with family, um it will be the best thing to do to reflect and introspect about those ideas, okay, to go over them one more time, even if we make one decision on how we're gonna change our patterns, our ways, giving forward, to make things a little bit more balanced, a little bit more fair for everybody, okay? The sun is setting here, Aries, as I'm starting your reading. Here we start with community. That's all it's about, the community at large. Your own personal community, perhaps your family, your city, your township, your country, and the world community, because we're all in this together. And the more we get along together, this is not about kumbaya. People laugh at that like it's something bad. Yes, let's all kumbaya. Let's make kumbaya cool. Let's all get together and talk and like each other, at least attempt to be civil to each other, at least attempt to be fair about the way the resources of this world are being are being spread around, right? Are being shared. Let's make that cool again. Let's make peace cool, right? So the community is so important here. The words in this deck talks about emotion, okay, about creativity, about feelings. So our feelings, what is our feelings in regards to the community, okay? And 8 we know is the number of transformation. Eighth house, Scorpio rules the 8th house. The 8th house is about death and rebirth. We're all going to a transition. We're all going to a way, like we are going to a phase where we're being pushed to end the way we went about doing things, to push the way things were to something else. We're in the middle of the transition process. What comes next? After this transition, after this transformation, in the way we view and interact in regards to community. What is community to us? We go to the one. This is major arcana number one, the first card in this deck. They don't have a zero, they don't have a full card corresponding to the full. We are the oracle, the oracle of Delphi. We get to decide that together. We get to create that new beginning. We get to manifest that new beginning. We cannot stop for that transformation to take place. We cannot stop for that new cycle to start, for that new stage in life, for that new era to begin. That is already been written. That's already been set in motion. But how we go about it is going to be up to us. So during this time, during this transition time, it will be very helpful if more of us, most of us, all of us, try to really learn, first of all, to be very honest and truthful with ourselves. And this is why I feel like I started this message getting very personal and explaining to you guys how I celebrate my birthday, my personal birthday, my solar return, because you guys need to hear that. To be honest with yourselves, to do your own year in review, to do your own life in review. Not just so much what those people do, what not just so much. I mean, yes, it's important to keep, especially our leaders, those people that we are voting to represent us, that are representing us, that where we have a say, to make sure they're accountable, that they're representing us well, they're representing our values. But also, let's help with ourselves, to look ourselves in the mirror. Have we been representing our values? Have we been living up to our higher self, in alignment with our principles? Because that's important to know where we've erred. That's important to know, so we know to not make the same mistake as we go forward. So we know what are the changes we need to start implementing. So we know what we do not want and what we want going forward, in our personal life as well as in, I don't know why this picture is looking like that. Excuse me, Aries. Let's fix this. There we go. In our personal life as well as in as a collective, okay? The King of Scrolls. The King of Scrolls is a very learned man. This is the intellectual. This is the researcher, okay? He knows knowledge, okay? He's holding the scroll there in his hand. He's the king. He's like at the very top. If there are secrets to be known, he knows all the secrets, okay? Information comes to him. He doesn't just know the information. He has perhaps like a team of researchers finding out the information for him. Communication is going to be very important as we roll out into this new phase. Sharing of communication is of information is going to be very important in this information phase. A lot of the disparity in income, in wealth, in resources, in well-being, even in healthcare, that we experience in this world have to do with because all of the information, all of the resources are being hoarded by just a small group. And you may think that small group, we're talking about just the top 1%, the billionaires and the millionaires, but that's not just that. A me, perhaps even a you, could fall in that small group. If you're living in the West, you can afford yourself a beautiful, affordable home. Not that you shouldn't, because you work hard for it. You did all the right steps. You did all the right stuff. That's what you wanted. That's what you accomplished for yourself. You should be proud of it. I'm proud of mine. But we also have to understand. Let's say, for example, you're living in a 4-bedroom house. There's 2 or 3 people in your household. Isn't that a bit excessive in a way? I've asked myself that same question. But when you live in a society, this is what's done, this is the way it is, it's very easy to, that's what it is. That's what you know, that's what it is, that's what people do. Okay? And we'll go out there, work hard to buy furniture to fill all these rooms, and we may use all these rooms, maybe not equally, but we may. And we feel good about ourselves for our achievement, and as we should in somewhat. About the material part of it, right? Then we must ask ourselves, do we know anyone in our own family that may be homeless or that may have housing insecurities? Do we know anyone in our workplace? Perhaps even at the grocery store, people that we've interact with that may not have even a place to stay. If you knew it, would that change your behavior? Would you have made an offer? Would you extend a hand? This is the kind of challenges we're about to face. Okay? Facing ourselves, our reflection in the mirror. And yes, this message sounds very familiar with sounds very similar to the last one. But that's the message for you, Aries, during this time. You are the one. We rule the first house. We start the spring. We start the year. We set the tone. If everyone will say like, okay, we're not great finishers, but we are the great starters. We set things in motion. We are that spark of life. We are that fire that burns. Out of the fire emerges this life. If no one else gonna get it correct, we most certainly have to give it a try, Aries. We owe it to ourselves and to the community, to the bigger community, to try. Okay? We don't need clarification on the community. It's about our transformation, the way you think about what's community, our feelings towards community, what it is to live in a community. That's very clear here. Let's get some clarity though, some clarification on the Oracle of Delphi for you. The Oracle is like the magician. The Oracle can access information. The Oracle knows secret knowledge, have access to the spiritual world. Seven of Cups. Yes, some of us, we might have been deluding ourselves. We might have created illusions about what is, what we like, you know, a false sense of, you know, having a public face, a private face. The options that we have that are presented to us, right? We see all those options. This is about options, choices, okay? With the Seven of Cups that are passing, the options that we make, that we have to live with. What are we going to choose going forward? That's what this is about. What are options? First, we have to know, who are we? What do we want? What do we stand? What don't we want? Okay, to choose. There you go, Aries. And choose we will. We will do it. We will rise up to the task. The Emperor. Major Arcana representing Aries. The card of authority, of dominance, of power, and abundance. The Emperor makes use of every personality in the kingdom. All the kings. The most the person, the highest skilled person is who will be presented to the Emperor. Who they will be entertained, who they be giving audience to. So we're going to set things in motion. We're gonna rise to the occasion. We're gonna step into our power as the oracle, as the authority figure, as this, to usher in that new era. Standing strong, understanding those decisions that we make, those choices. It's not just for ourselves. It's not just for the personal. These days are gone. It's for the greater community. Because the Emperor is responsible for everybody in their kingdom. Wise, but with a lot of responsibilities on their shoulder. Clarification on the King of Swords for Aries. Clarification on the King of Swords for Aries. And Aries, I'm getting the clarification, but they keep telling me to go into the book. Okay, so I'm going to pull the book out for you guys. There's something here that's not being said that needs to be said. Clarification on the King of Swords for Aries. Clarification on the King of Swords for Aries. Okay, we have a whole thing that fell through, and I'm only gonna pick up that one that flipped and the top card here. Okay, and okay, fine, we'll do it your way. Here comes the Knight of Pentacles, grounded, stable. Okay, moving forward, bringing the information in a very grounded way, very stable way, very methodical way. Okay, so Aries, with the new moon here that comes, and then we will go through this little start as they wish. There's a new moon in Aries coming up here in a day or two. During the new moon in Aries, for a lot of us, certain things that were certain skill sets, certain information that was laying dormant in our subconscious is gonna start are gonna be activated. They're gonna become clearer to us. We're also gonna be asked to face our shadow selves, like we're talking about just now, to pay attention to our own behavior, the things we need to stop, the things that we need to leave behind with the old era as we transition into the new. We cannot go forward into the light. We cannot go forward leading the way without having gone through that phase of reflection and really facing ourselves and doing the shadow work. The Hierophant, responsibility. The High Priest. Authority. Also the cards of institutions. This change that's coming through, it's a change that's going to also expose things that were in the shadow, but the institutions that we currently are all have been living under, that have been directing our life, managing our lives. Yes, those changes, those reflections, this introspection will have to be done on the personal level, but also at the institutional level, changes will have to be made. They'll have to face their own shadow. New leaders will have to come stepping forward, will be ordained. The Two of Cups, coming into union, masculine and feminine energy, balancing those out. All of us together, we're gonna make kumbaya cool. We're gonna make peace cool, caring for each other cool. This doesn't have to be a romantic union. This is about harmony, bringing harmony to the community. The King of Swords, decisive, taking charge, taking control of the situation. Someone's got to take control. And that control is not out of place of ego. That control is not just a control that's going to be decisions that's going to be making with the mind, with the intellect. Those are decisions that are going to be divinely inspired. Okay? The King of Skulls in the Akashic Tarot that we have here, that we are clarifying, carries the same energy as the King of Swords. Talking about the intellect, communication, control, decisive. The Five of Pentacles. Isolation, abandonment, poverty. As we go through that transition, yes. As we shift things around, yes. Some of us there will be losses. A lot of those losses will be in the terms of material. Some of us will have to give up some so another can have a little bit more so they can survive. Some of us are going to have to learn to share, because the community where this is happening, people are sitting in the cold, walking in the cold, being left behind. It's not sustainable. Time is elastic in this known world. It might take years, it might take centuries, it might take decades, whatever. But eventually we'll have to face the music. And here we are, facing the music. Some of us will have to lose some. The community also includes those people, those that are most vulnerable. We also have to care for them. Moving away from trouble, moving away from conflict, leaving behind that mentality of lack. I have to hoard, I have to have more, because if I don't, I will never have, I won't be able to survive. How can I share? How can I give this? And then I won't have. Understanding that the well of the universe is infinite. There's plenty for all of us to have and be able to live a life of peace, a life of comfort, and a life of happiness. To be able to enjoy our family and our children. To be able to contribute to society in a positive way. To be able to encourage Those of us that are a little bit more challenged, those of us that need a little bit more time to accomplish, those of us that have like some perhaps difficult karma to deal with, leaving behind the conflict, leaving behind the choppy water, going towards calmer sea. And I'm gonna show you the last two cards together with that whole pile, Aries, because this is Aries season. What we're going through right now is happening here right now during your season, Aries. And I truly feel like your message is going to be not just for you, Aries, because we are being called here to step up to the plate, to usher in that new beginning, to take the leadership role here in this situation. Is going to be something that perhaps all the signs should hear. Because what happens next, that new beginning that we're going to usher in, is going to affect everybody. Here comes a new foundation after we leave that behind, that conflict, that was negative, that wasn't for the best and highest good of the whole community. Here comes a new foundation, the new global home that we're going to build for ourselves, the world community, under the eyes of the angels, coming together in union. This is the card of union, the lovers, making the decision to go forward under the eyes of the angels, under the protection of the angels. And so it is ordained. Building a new home for us here on earth. And yes, I will go to the Ace of Pentacles. And let me tell you guys, I had to take some time off. And I think I mentioned that in the last Aries reading, because I was feeling so much of the anxiety going on around me. I know it wasn't just mine, because it was so intense. Like for a good 3 nights, I never slept. Even for me to meditate, I had to prepare myself. I had to concentrate so hard to meditate, to pray, to release that energy, to let go of all that anxiety. And I was doing Reiki at times twice a day on myself, because I intuitively understood and knew, and I don't do well anyways when I'm not balanced, when there's all of this. So I knew I needed to tackle that first before I could even like come and face you guys, before I could even come and do a reading to YouTube, or even a personal reading, to do any Reiki session. I don't do any kind of energy work if I myself am not balanced within myself. That was the first phase. So for those of you that are feeling the fear, that are feeling anxiety of everything that's going on around you, just know that you are powerful during this time. Just know that the physical world is just only an aspect of our existence. Our spiritual well-being and our spiritual life is just as important, if not more, because that is what we take with us. The Oracle of Delphi. I'm going to go to the next for you. When you receive this card, you're in a time of great insight and psychic power. Even if you don't recognize it yet, it lies very close to your consciousness. What did I say to you guys? When I saw this card, the message was channeled to very, very directly. Things that has been dormant, it's going to be activated, coming through. Amazing. Even if you don't recognize it yet, it lies very close to your consciousness because you have used this gift in so many past lives. You may get images or feelings without knowing how to interpret them. Take notes as you practice both your psychic perceptions and their interpretations. Just as they gave the Oracle of Delphi a profound awareness, your psychic perceptions and their interpretations give you a powerful insight and an Akashic vision of the world. And that's why they wanted me to read this to you guys. That last sentence right there, that's why they wanted me to read it to you guys. And I have to be able to, I want you guys to be able to read it for yourself. Can you see it? That last sentence right there. A new vision for the world. That's why they wanted me to read it to you. I was saying it to you. It's been channeled. I was explaining it to you because I received the message. but it needed to be said. A new vision for the world. Those are the words that needed to be expressed, that we need to be said directly, explicitly. A new vision for the world. Hi, Aries. And here comes the sun. The reflection. This also would be a great time for you. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to read the part that my eyes go to. This will be a great time for you to take classes in meditation, psychic development, counseling, healing, and other psychological and spiritual arts. If you have such an interest, your yin side is wide open and your receptivity is high. Trust your inner voice and you will be guided to greatness. Do you guys hear? Trust your inner voice as you reflect, as you meditate, as you do that and go through that introspection, as you're receiving more information from spirit, from the divine. You will be guided to greatness. You will be guided to greatness because there's a new beginning, because you have such an important part into that new era, Aries, that's coming through for the whole world community here. Okay? In this new home that we are creating with ourselves, that we are being guided, that we are being inspired to create right now, that new era. This is so beautiful. There's a reason they wanted me to do a reading over Aries. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. Like, comment, subscribe if you feel like it. If you enjoyed this reading, I will still be posting about the hangout tomorrow, the live reading. You can ask questions and we can just chit chat, okay? I'm sending you so much love. Bye-bye.